Hi guys, welcome back, and in this lesson we're going to learn 3 new chord shapes. Now, at this point of your guitar playing career, you're going to find a lot of new chords are going to suddenly get thrown at you. Now, the really good news is, especially when you're learning open chords, you've done a lot of work already working out how to change between open chords, how to play the basic shapes and everything else. Now, you're going to find as you go through and you kind of improve and improve, the actual learning of new chords gets quicker and quicker and quicker, to the point where sometimes, even if you're just literally about to play a song and there's a whole new chord in it, you can play it once or twice and then you can, off you go, play the song. So your fingers just kind of get used to moving around, trying new shapes, and only rarely do you find chords, as you move further and further up the neck, that really still push you, okay? So hopefully today, these chords, there's 3 chords that we're going to go through, hopefully you'll pick them up reasonably fast. Now we're doing 7th chords today, and later on in the courses we actually talk in detail about different types of 7th chords. So for now I'm going to give you a very vague overall description of these chords and just learn the shapes. Okay, so the shapes we're going to be learning, that we're going to be using in the song after this, will be a C major 7, an F major 7, and a G dominant 7. Okay, now 2 basic chords there. We've got major 7ths and dominant 7ths. And just before we get into any theory, which is all covered over in the theory section, if you're really interested in the construction of these chords and how that affects, different musical styles. Now, the major 7ths are just kind of lighter, more airy, more relaxed versions of major chords. Okay, so here's a C major, and here's a C major 7. You can hear a bit more relaxed, a bit more jazzy maybe, some people might consider it, and that's the sign for any major 7th chord. That's the kind of rough sound that you're looking for. With dominant 7th, it's more of a unresolved sound. So if you listen to this dominant 7th chord, it sounds like it still wants to go somewhere afterwards, okay? And this is a big reason why this is a huge part of blues and jazz music, because you get tension, which you then release. Okay, so dominant 7th chords tend to provide a bit more tension, a slightly more unresolved sound, and again can be a bit more jazzy, bluesy sounding. So let's just take you through the 3 chord shapes. So a C major 7 is a piece of cake. Okay, it's a C major chord, and you just take away your first finger. Okay, and that gives you the C major 7. Okay, so you've got your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, and then open G, open B, and open E strings. And all of that together gives you the C major 7. Okay? On a chord chart, you'd see that written as C maj, so M-A-J 7. Okay, just short for major 7. So there's your first chord. Now the F major 7, we've pretty much already done it when we looked at F, because when we looked at F, if you remember, we either did it with the bar chord, the little mini bar there, or just as a 3-note chord, okay? Well, if you do an F major 7, all you need to do is take that 3-note chord of F and just play the open E string, which gives you the major 7th note. Okay? So that one's an absolute piece of cake because you already have done it, basically. Okay? Important thing to remember is that your root note for an F major 7 is on the D string, on the F note, so 3rd fret along. Okay. Now let's look at the G7. The G7 looks like this. This is a bit more fiddly. Now we're very much used to playing G like this, so we have to totally redesign this chord to do a G7. So what I'm doing is I'm putting my 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the E string, 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and then I'm doing open strings all the way down to the high E string, where I put my 1st finger on the 1st fret of the E string. Okay, and that note there is the crucial note because that's your dominant 7th note. Okay, so that one could be a little bit of a stretch, so you've really got to work on that one to make sure that you get all nice, clear, all 6 strings out of that. Okay. I'm sure there's other ways to fret it as well. You might prefer to kind of have a little bit of a play around. You might like to use your little finger just in case you struggle with the stretch. But however you do it, it needs to sound like that. Okay. So all we're going to do is just have a little play around with those 3 chords to start with. Okay. So I'm going to start with the C major 7. I'm going to apply my Travis picking pattern, and I'm going to do my new pattern, which is this, remember. Or without the double note, so exactly the same patterns that we looked at in the last lesson. And then practice going from that to the F major 7. Again, here my thumb is going to go down to the D string because that's my root note. Everything else stays the same. Okay, or if you're going to do the double hits at the start, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then for the G7, it's the same picking pattern as if you were just doing a normal G. So, because the root note is on the E string. So just try doing something along these lines. So practice one pattern without the double hit first. Then maybe practice it with the double hit. Then change chord, do the same thing. Then with the double hit. Then change chord again, G7 without the double hit. Then with the double hit, and just go around that until you're roughly getting these chords together. We don't need it to be perfect at the moment, just well enough, just enough so that you can just do that at that nice steady pace, because next time we're going to start looking at a song and that's when we're really going to get these chords nailed.